This Thursday, May 8th, we're happy to have you along for CNN Student News. I'm Carl Azus. You might not have heard of synthetic drugs. This can describe a wide range of chemical substances that mimic the effects of other drugs like marijuana or heroin. The U.S. government says synthetic drugs can be even more dangerous than the illegal ones they try to imitate. Synthetic ingredients are sometimes more potent. They're untested. Their names and ingredients are often changed to prevent drug busts. But that doesn't always work. Yesterday, the government announced more than 150 people have been arrested over the past 4 months for making or selling synthetic drugs. Police seized hundreds of thousands of drug packages and more than $20 million in cash and other assets. The government's particularly concerned about synthetic drugs, in part because a 2012 survey found that 1 in 9 high school seniors said they used synthetic marijuana. That was that group's second most frequently used drug behind actual marijuana. Next up today, Janet Yellen. She's the leader of the Federal Reserve, the central bank of the U.S. She expects the U.S. economy to grow, quote, somewhat faster than it did last year. But she has some concerns. For one, the U.S. housing market. It's weak. Homes aren't selling as well as economists expected. One thing the Fed's doing is keeping interest rates low to encourage people to borrow money for purchases like houses. Interest rates are one tool at the Fed's disposal.
So we've all heard that phrase that, money makes the world go round, but you may have asked yourself once or twice, okay, well, who makes the money go round? So the answer is the Federal Reserve, or as my friends and I like to call it, the Fed. So the Fed is pretty much unlike any other U.S. institution that I can think of. It's run by a board of governors based in Washington, D.C. It has 12 Federal Reserve banks located around the main banking centers of the country, so places like New York, San Francisco, Philadelphia. The presidents of these banks and the board of governors, they meet 8 times a year to make big policy decisions and to ensure that the economy is moving at a stable clip. So Congress oversees the Fed, but the Fed doesn't really answer to Congress. The Fed operates completely independently because it doesn't care about politics. All it cares about is basically 2 things. Number 1, keeping prices stable. And number 2, trying its best to ensure that everybody who wants a job gets one. So if the economy is heating up, it tries to cool things down by raising the cost of borrowing, by making it harder to borrow money. And if things are getting too cold, it does the opposite. So you can sort of think of the Fed like Goldilocks. It doesn't really like things too hot, too cold. It wants everything to be just right. So you're probably wondering, okay, well, how does the Fed work its magic? What's its secret weapon? The answer is interest rates. So the way the Fed gets interest rates at just that right level, at that sweet spot, is through buying and selling U.S. Treasuries and other bonds. So when it wants to cool the market down, it sells U.S. Treasuries, stashes away the cash, and that reduces the money supply. So that makes it harder to borrow money, and that basically slows down economic growth. When it really wants to heat the market up, it essentially starts buying up U.S. Treasuries and other bonds that floods the market with cash and fuels economic growth. So it's not necessarily a perfect system, but it works, at least for now. And as they say on Wall Street, don't fight the Fed.
See if you can ID me. I'm a nation that's the world's largest producer of platinum. I have 3 capitals, including Pretoria. You'll find me in the southernmost part of Africa. I'm South Africa, and I've been governed by President Jacob Zuma since 2009.
Even though 79% of South Africa's population is black, the country didn't have its first black president until 1994. The reason? Apartheid, a South African government policy of segregation. It discriminated against people who weren't white. It was officially over by 1994 when Nelson Mandela was elected, and his political party was expected to do well in Wednesday's election, though scandals surround the country's current leader.
This is the first election since the death of Nelson Mandela, and it's his party, the Liberation Party, the ANC, that is guaranteed to win at the polls and give Jacob Zuma, the president, a second term. But many of these voters have become disenchanted with South Africa 20 years after that first democratic election. Scandals involving the president, for example, have angered many. A recent report has said that the president misused public funds to privately upgrade his own home. So what does that mean when these people go into these voting halls and mark their ballot paper? Well, the question is, how much support will the ANC lose, and will opposition parties such as the EFF and the Democratic Alliance gain more support? But in the end, the ANC will get more than over 60% of the vote, say polls, because there's still a deep emotional attachment to the party that liberated South Africans. Robin Kerner, CNN, Alexandra, South Africa.
Next report takes us from Brunei to Beverly Hills. First, a bit about Brunei. This is a Southeast Asian country that's a little smaller than Delaware, and it has less than half of Delaware's population. About 422,000 people live in Brunei. Almost 80% of those people are Muslim, and their government just instituted a strict form of Islamic law called Sharia law. Under Sharia law, certain acts like leaving Islam or committing adultery are illegal. In some cases, they're punishable by death. Now to Beverly Hills. A landmark there, the Beverly Hills Hotel, is part of a hotel chain. Brunei's leader invests in that chain, and because they disagree with Brunei's Sharia law, a number of celebrities have stopped staying at the hotels. That's having some side effects.
Beverly Hills Hotel employees packing a city council meeting, pleading members to not pass a resolution condemning the laws of a country half a world away.
It strangles our livelihood. It causes us to be unable to support our children, our families, my sick grandmother in Vietnam.
But the pleas failed to stop it from passing.
With tremendous honor, yes.
The Beverly Hills City Council resolution targets this man, the Sultan of Brunei, a small Southeast Asian country. Brunei recently enacted new Islamic Sharia law that punishes adultery, abortions, and same-sex relationships with flogging and stoning. The Sultan is reportedly worth more than $20 billion and is invested in the hotel chain that owns the storied Beverly Hills Hotel.
Maybe people will just become aware.
Celebrities now vowing to boycott the iconic hotel and the entire chain. Richard Branson tweeting, "No Virgin employee nor our family will stay at the Dorchester hotels until the Sultan abides by basic human rights."
It's all economic, you know. How big an economic impact will it have? Let's find out and see.
The hotel says the boycott has already cost it more than $1 million, but will try to avoid layoffs.
It's going to hurt our employees, and this has nothing to do with them, whatsoever.
Trojans, Tornadoes, and Eagles. Welcome to the CNN Student News Roll Call. We're starting today in Topeka, Kansas with the Trojans. They're making our roll at Topeka High School. Spinning up to Anoka, Minnesota. Hello to the Tornadoes. Thank you for watching at Anoka High School. And in Tolland, Connecticut, the Eagles are soaring over Tolland High School. It's great to know y'all are watching. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and we're featuring your comments from our student viewers already on Facebook. Min appreciates Miss Carey at Busan International Foreign School. She makes science interesting and inspires me to become a scientist. Mackenzie's favorite teacher is Mrs. Makos. She's helped me with my math skills and made me a better student. Sarah writes, Mr. Marquez is one of the best social studies teachers someone can have. You'll never get lost in his class. Laverio says Coach Wingo, his world history teacher, is very chill and laid back. Any teen would be happy to have him as a teacher. And Sean says Mrs. Hall teaches us a lot about how America came to be and how current events affect us. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when a relatively small hovering pile of twisted plasma shifts back and forth a little bit before blasting off into space, well, NASA's got your answer. You're looking at a prominence eruption, something that scientists say is pretty common on the sun and no threat to us here. This view is from NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, an $850 million spacecraft that orbits the Earth, staring at and studying the sun. There's plenty of space for puns here. You could say it really heats up interstellar interest, that it gives a startling view, that it's plasmastic, enlightening, illuminating, radiant, brilliant. It's certainly something else, and it lets us end our show on a sunny side up note. Hope you'll make more space again for CNN Student News tomorrow.